Hey everyone, welcome to the Hobby Collab.
Hey.
Yeah, welcome back, Brett.
Yeah, it's been a long time. A whole
Yeah.
2 days.
I know. I could count the hours.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's fun. We're doing something fun today, something I really like doing.
We're going to be dirtying stuff up. We're going to be completely ruining painted models.
I know. I spent all this time, and now I got to cover it with grime.
I'm an expert at ruining painted models. I've done this a few times before as well.
Oh, good. Yeah, so we're doing weathering today, which, if you haven't done weathering, you should really give it a try on your models.
It adds so much. It's so cool. It's a little bit daunting the first time you try it. You take the first stroke with some like greasy, grimy oil brush to something you've just spent hours and hours working on. But it looks super cool. We're excited to show you guys a few ways of making this happen.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing multiple techniques today. Maybe you can show us what we're working on first.
For sure.
I'm going to grab the gimbal and hope I don't knock everything over. But you're working on some Tau.
Yeah, so Cire's doing Space Marines, I'm doing Tau. And I've got a Devilfish model here that was in the thumbnail. So this is a finished one.
Bring it that way a little bit. Here, I'll show you on screen.
There you
go.
There we go. So this guy here still needs to be done. So you can see this is airbrushed and totally clean. There's no panel lining. There's no streaking. There's no weathering powders. It's sort of a straight off the line, right off the factory.
Yeah, straight off the assembly line.
And then this guy here is kind of what we're gonna aim for.
Yeah, I'll zoom in a little.
At the end. So we've got some streaking on the front, showcasing that it moves fast and gets lots of rock chips hitting the front. We've got some on the engine exhaust. We've got some streaking there. And you can see a little bit of chipping around some of the panel lines and some of the hard edges. So that's kind of where we're going to end up at the end of today. What about you, Cire?
So I don't have an example ready, but I do have the model I'm working on, and that is going to be my... Here, maybe you can do
Yeah,
it.
sure. I can hold it for you.
My Salamander's Land Raider. Here, maybe you can zoom out a little bit. There we go. So this is what I'm weathering. It's very bright and yellow right now. If you look at this right here, that's kind of where we're going. You can see a little bit of chipping. Oh, I'm sorry, the glare's catching.
On the ramp, right?
Yeah. So if you look, the ramp's got some good weathering going on there. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing it across the entire model, though, and we're going to show you how we do that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Awesome.
It's
going to be a fun journey.
It is. But
this Land Raider looks amazing, by the way, even just as is.
Thank you.
The combination of fades plus the freehand work that you did on the black looks dope.
If you enjoy our streams and our show and Brett, please give us a like.
Or Cire's amazing salamanders.
Yes, we have a couple of quizzes coming up later.
This is a salamanders model. Can you believe that?
Yeah, this yellow.
Like, if you've not, this is like Heresy era, right?
So this is an even weirder, more obscure thing. It's the Badab War.
Oh, okay.
Which was a weird, like, in between Heresy and like modern 40K. And if you have any questions, you want to super chat us, support us, you can super chat us in the chat. Let us know what's up. Okay.
So we've got 2 hours. We're going to take these models from perfectly clean and functional to dirty and broken down.
Yeah, it's almost non-functional if we want to go that far.
Yeah.
But first, let's talk inspiration.
Sure.
What are we inspired by? That is one of the.
Right.
If I can find it on her, there it is. All right, so I'm not inspired by this police car, but the black. If you notice, my Land Raider has a lot of black, and I don't actually see a ton of tutorials for black, like black weathering, because weathering doesn't really show up that well on black. So you can't see it super well, but if you zoom in, there's actually some nice rust chips on the hood.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm going to be going for. It's slightly different than the white. If you look at the white, it's like much more prominent, and it's almost like I don't know if there's something in the way they treat black paint or something, but it seems almost more resistant to.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's true. Maybe it's not, but the streaks don't show up as much.
Right.
The chipping does though. And then my second piece of inspiration is. This. The yellow. This is pretty straightforward, right? I've been doing a yellow model.
Yeah.
This is pretty much what I'm going for.
So you've got some browns and oranges
Yeah.
that you're going to be using to weather the yellow.
Exactly.
Nice.
All right, and then
Okay.
we're gonna move on to you.
Yeah. So this is an image from Lincoln Wright's website. So I'm familiar with Lincoln's work for, I don't know, 20 years. He started his hobby career. Well, I guess I first became familiar with his hobby work as a Tau painter, and he still dabbles a little bit with Tau. He has a YouTube channel and an Instagram called Paint on Plastic. So go check him out if you are, are interested in this kind of stuff. But he primarily focuses on Japanese IP called MAK, Maschinen Kruger,
Yeah.
which is sort of a post-apocalyptic, futuristic, but a little bit steampunky, sort of robotic mech IP. I've not. It started as a like a comic book, and they've got sort of a line of toys. But he still occasionally dabbles in Tau, and he has done some amazing work with weathering, and that's sort of his specialty. He explores all kinds of different products and mediums to achieve these kinds of effects, and I just think it's amazing. He's his sort of understanding, and you watch some of his videos, and he talks you through like all the ways. Well, I'm going to apply this product here because this is sort of the engine intake, and this is the engine outlet, and this is sort of the way the incoming aerodynamics would affect the stream of debris that's hitting this. So he spends a lot of time thinking about that kind of stuff. That's also how I approach weathering. And obviously his work kind of speaks for itself. It's amazing. So go check out Paint on Plastic on YouTube and Instagram, and it's pretty amazing. So I'm going to be channeling Lincoln a little bit today.
Sweet. All right. So what are you starting off with? What technique are you going to start with?
I was going to start with some panel lining.
Okay.
This is actually, I might skip the panel lining because you pointed out, very rightfully so, that I've not gloss varnished this.
Right.
And I did a little bit of testing before the show, and was sad at sort of the way the panel liner was flowing in the recesses. So I think I will skip the panel lining for now. Just focus on the weathering, and then gloss varnish after I'm done with the weathering, and then panel line sort of post weathering. So I'm going to start with some sponge. We've gotten one of these little sponge brushes.
Yeah, me too.
And I've ripped a little chunk off the tip. I'm manipulating it with some tweezers. The idea here is that when you rip a chunk off, you expose sort of a jagged edge.
Yeah.
And I can dip this in some black paint. And the theory here is I'm going to streak with and a combination of sort of stippling and streaking with black paint applied with a sponge. And then I'm going to go over top of it with silver paint, gunmetal, using a paintbrush as a second step.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm going to start with streaking with a sponge on black paint.
Sweet. I am also sponging. I'm not going to cut mine off. I'll show you what I'm going to do, though. I'm going to dip the paint. So anyone who doesn't know, the reason you use a sponge is that it's got this porous, texture to it.
Yeah.
And so when you dab off the paint, it'll leave random patterns. And that's something that's really hard for people. That's something that's really hard for people to paint by hand.
It's so hard to paint randomly. Gosh. I when I first started weathering, I tried sort of randomly streaking with a brush.
Yeah.
And it's
very difficult.
It doesn't look great. It's hard. You can do it with a lot of practice, but it's weird how much practice it requires to sort of get a random look.
Yeah.
And so I think you're right. A little bit of, and you can get different effects with different
types of sponge.
Yeah. So like, I first started with a kitchen sponge, and the pores in a kitchen sponge are huge.
Yeah.
And that was not really what I was after. But then you try a couple different kinds, you get some packaging in the mail, and it's got got some sponge in it. You can borrow that, or different products that you could find. So like there's a product called Magic Eraser here in the U.S. and it's meant as a cleaning product for removing like stains and stuff from furniture, from flooring, and it has a very sort of fine sponge texture that I really like for this as well.
All right, so I'm going to show chat what I mean by this random texture. So, hey chat, we're going to take you for a spin. Close your eyes if you have motion sickness. All right. I'll choose a spot right here. Where, if I can find... Oh, there we go. So I've got a little bit of brown paint right here on the edge. And dab it off until you start to get these random patterns. But you just can't do it with by hand. So you'll see. Ooh.
I like it. Yeah.
Come on, we're going for a... There we go.
Yeah, so you can see, yeah, that looks good. And even there, you can almost sort of see that it was individually applied dabs.
Yeah. So different sponges would definitely...
Different sponges, or like doing sort of multiple layers that overlap kind of hides the sort of man-madeness.
Change the angle of your brush as well.
Change the angle of your sponge brush.
Yeah.
Helps a lot.
So what I'm going to be doing, it's something I think you should think about when you're weathering, is placement.
Yes.
Sorry. Back and back out. Because you'd mentioned, was it Lucas Wright having
Lincoln, yeah.
Sorry, Lincoln Wright, having a kind of a method
thought process
behind it. I'm going to keep it pretty basic, and basically it's this. If it has an edge, it should have some chipping, some amount of chipping. It's kind of a way to kind of cheat instead of edge highlighting.
Yeah.
You're basically defining the edges with this paint.
Because that's where paint is most likely to chip off, is on the edges of something.
Exactly. So all these edges, just put a little bit of paint. You can go heavier in some areas. Also, I tend to go heavier on areas that like the front of the tank, right? You think the front of the tank, that's what's moving forward. So there's probably rocks getting kicked at it. That's probably where it's getting shot as well. So.
Yeah. And then I think another really good place to apply chipping is right at sort of the corners of panel lines.
Yeah.
And this is great because if your panel liner oversprays a little bit, your panel liner leaks out of the panel line, you can very easily cover it up with some chipping right there. So this is a very compelling reason to panel line before you weather.
Yeah.
Because you can use it to cover up mistakes in your panel lining.
Yeah. Weathering is great for covering up mistakes.
That's right, yeah.
I'm also just going to randomly choose a couple of chips on this flat panel. I try to keep it pretty light comparatively on big flat areas. If I am going to do those, I'll do those by hand.
Yeah.
Those should be more considered. I
think, obviously there's different styles when painting Warhammer, and some people go for this like really heavily weathered look. These models, this squad has been out in the field for, weeks, and they've seen a bunch of, hard battles, and they're just kind of bootstrapping, trying to make it work with the materials that they have. And that can be a cool look. Other people like the sort of fresh from the factory vibe. And so either can work. You just have to decide kind of what look you're going for and replicate it across your army. If you go pretty heavy on the weathering, you should probably do that
across
on the whole army. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. I realized one other area that I like to do some streaking, especially to sort of mimic the look of exhaust, is coming off these vents. So the Devilfish has, yeah. So I'll show you on this guy. Um,
All right, here, switch to Lumix.
so what I've done here, and this is the one that I've done previously, it's got this vent here, and I like having this. I imagine this as an exhaust vent. One important thing to think about when you're weathering is like, is stuff coming out of this vent or going into this vent?
Right.
And I imagine this as an exhaust vent. And so I've got some sort of dark, I'm imagining maybe it's smoky. I can't imagine Tautech is particularly dirty, but regardless, it looks cool to have sort of a smoke streak coming off of this vent. Even if you imagine that whatever's coming out of here is not polluting the environment. Yeah. It looks cool. So I've chosen to go with the rule of cool here and have a little bit of a streak coming off of this vent. But what I realized, you can go back to front cam. Sorry. What I've realized is that the model I'm working on doesn't have the light colored gray around the outside of that vent. So I need to put some light gray down first.
Oh, good.
So I'm going to do that, and then I can grime over it.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Super Edie. Thank you for the membership. You got who'd you get? Free Brittany 2001. Hey, we've seen them in chat occasionally.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not exactly done, but I do want to show something real fast. Something that you can do to increase the, I don't know, reality? That's not real.
Realism?
Realism? Of the,
Is anything really real?
No, not really.
Not really?
It's not really real. Not really.
Not really real? Not
No.
really?
Not really. All right, let me, where's a good area I can showcase it? Okay. Okay, chat, you see? Sorry, this gloss is actually kind of hurting me. Okay, so you'll see some of these areas, like, let's see, where's a good spot? Actually, let's go here. Of course, the front cam is in the way. Okay, see here, this area. It looks fine. It looks good. But something you can do to kind of increase the chipping is you just edge highlight it a little bit.
Edge highlight it with black.
Yeah. Well, in this case, I'm doing dark rust.
Oh, I see.
But yes, okay. It's a dark brown. And what this does is it kind of connects those lines. Sorry, I'm trying to. It's hard to manipulate. Here's a good spot. See this right here? This area? Looks fine. Looks nicely chipped. But if you want to kind of make it look even more chipped up, you just connect all those dots together, do a little edge highlighting, and now it looks like that. Very chipped.
You're right. I think that's a good point. I think the best weathering comes from a mixture of techniques.
Yes.
If you only sponge, or if you only sort of hand brush, or if you only use oils, it'll look fine, and you can with practice get it to kind of have it having a certain effect.
Yeah.
But the reality is weathering has sort of a different looks. There's weathering from water. There's weathering from a rock hitting your paint job and chipping off some of the paint. There's weathering from battle damage.
Yeah.
And different techniques sort of mimic these effects better or worse.
Yeah, you want to get those layers, right? Those layers of, and layers and variety is what makes weathering pop.
And if you just focus on one technique, you'll end up sort of with that issue we were talking about before about how it sort of looks man-made.
Yeah.
More strongly. Whereas if you overlap different techniques, you can sort of hide the fact that it looks man-made. Yeah. A little bit better.
Also try to be asymmetrical with your with your weathering. Like I said, sometimes the front is probably more heavily weathered than the back of a tank.
Right, for sure.
That doesn't mean you can't do different kinds of weathering, right? Maybe there's more oil on the back.
Right.
And there's more dust on the front.
Or exhaust soot stains or something.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so I've got one of these. I've these vents colored my light gray. If I were to no, it's okay. If I were to weather over them, and then paint this light gray later, that would be counterproductive.
All right, I'm going to also show one more thing.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. I specifically overdid it a little bit so I could show. Okay, so I've got this area right here. Right? On this flat panel. See? Right here. Oh, I'm still out of focus, sorry. This flat panel right here.
Yep.
So it's fine. Again, it's fine. But something you can do is it looks like what I did. It looks like I put sponge there. So what you can do is you can enhance it by connecting some of the dots. So turn these couple of dots into one
big dot.
One big dot.
Yeah. One of the things that happens is we talked about how one of the advantages of a sponge is that it gives you a random look.
Yeah.
The problem is if you take a piece of sponge and dab it the same piece of sponge in multiple places that are next to each other, it weirdly tends to produce the exact same
weird.
quote unquote random pattern.
Yeah.
And when that's repeated adjacent to another sort of version of itself,
it looks very obvious.
you can tell that it's the same pattern. Yeah. And so what you're doing there by connecting those dots, you're making those two adjacent random patterns look different.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, what is everyone else working on? Anyone doing weathering today? That's what I want to know. Where is the mouse? Yeah, what is everyone working on? Yes, Zach and Meg are just hanging out in the other room.
Zach hurt his foot today.
It was yesterday.
Yesterday. We almost had a emergency, but turns out it's not that bad.
Yep. He's not using a... he had to use a walker temporarily, he told me.
Did he really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
But he doesn't need it anymore.
So no hospital visit necessary. Turns out it was just a bad sprain.
Yeah. So everyone wish Zach a quick recovery, even though I guess he's already kind of recovered.
So this is a Land Raider. It looks like it's the flamer kind, right?
It is.
Which is...
the best kind.
The best kind, because you play salamanders.
That's right.
So is this your first Land Raider that you're painting for this army?
This is the first Land Raider I've ever painted ever.
Wow.
I did paint a Spartan, though. So I guess I went harder first.
Right.
Yeah.
The Spartan, is that also a flamethrower
no,
vehicle?
it's like a supersized Land Raider. It has las cannons, though.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Cool. How did you find the kit to build?
The Land Raider or the
Land Raider, yeah.
So I actually bought this off of eBay.
Okay.
Like 3 years ago.
Okay.
I actually have 2 of them.
You've been waiting for this moment.
Yes, they're finally good in 40K, and I also finally have a moment to paint some 40K.
Right.
So it felt appropriate.
Now, what makes Land Raiders good in 40K?
Well,
they're tough enough.
Well, they're tough. The big thing is Overwatch now.
Oh.
Yeah, so being able to Overwatch on someone else's turn is quite good. It's especially good if you have flamethrowers because they automatically hit.
Because they auto hit. You have to worry about that 6s to hit thing.
Yeah, and they're strength 6, 2 damage.
Wow.
So
seems good.
They're no joke. You know?
The Redeemer's kind of always been interesting, but also I think transports are good because you can disembark after you move, which just makes transports generally pretty cool. Yeah. So the combination of a transport that can, has quality shooting, combined with transport utility is pretty rad.
Yeah, they showed off some salamander. Well, they're not salamanders, but they're salamanders rules.
Okay.
And one of the big ones was being able to shoot, being able to disembark out of a transport and shoot with that unit when someone shoots at the transport.
Oh yeah, and then hop back in.
Yeah, or I think I don't know if you can hop back in, but I think you can hop out.
It's like a reactionary disembark in your opponent's turn.
And shoot, yes.
Wow. Yeah.
It's that's quite good. So being able to pop out with a bunch of guys, a bunch of salamanders with flamethrowers of their own.
So are we going to be seeing a bunch of knot salamanders
Ah,
on the top tables of competitive tournaments.
I don't think they're that good, but it'll be fun,
Hmm.
at least. All right. Still doing my my little bits of not sort of semi-edge highlighting, I guess.
Wait, let me go back to shooting after you disembark in your opponent's turn.
Uh-huh.
Is that done at Overwatch, like ballistic skill? Are you hitting on sixes? Is it like an Overwatch attack?
Oh my gosh, it's been a minute. I think you do it at chat. Am I wrong? I haven't actually been able to use it because I don't have a Land Raider. I don't have transport.
Well, it's been previewed for the new Space Marine Codex. It's not actually out yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We should look it up.
I'm curious.
I think you can shoot at full ballistic skill.
Wow. Okay. Because it's sort of like an Overwatch attack. It's like you interrupt your opponent's. I guess in this case it's shooting phase, not movement phase.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Okay.
Seems fun.
Yeah, for sure. I like it.
Okay, I've got. So right here, there's a part I'm painting right now, and I'm not actually using sponging. I'm just kind of edge highlighting, but I'm kind of tapping it instead of drawing a straight line.
Okay.
I'll show that off in a moment.
I think also another cool thing is if you have multiple versions of a vehicle. So like this is my I think we were talking before the show. I think this is my fourth Devilfish. And last one. Only owned 4. But I wanted to sort of weather them, not like using the same style, but I didn't want them all to look exactly the same. So it's an opportunity to make some a little bit more heavily weathered, a little bit more lightly weathered.
Yeah.
Maybe the weathering is sort of in slightly different spots. Maybe you could do one with like, oh, this one got like shot with a giant cannon in the side and then had its panel replaced.
Oh, that's
so
a good
you
idea.
can imagine like, there's some repair work, some telltale signs from that repair work. It's an opportunity to tell a story.
Yeah, weathering
in some ways.
Yeah, weathering is huge for well, like you said, being able to tell a story, right? If you have a big, burn from like a las cannon on your side, that's like pretty fun. Or stitching a bunch of bolt shells into a side or something.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, Super 80 says, fun fact, the repulsor currently lets you re-embark that way. Comboing it with Hellblasters gets a bit nuts. Yeah, I think Super 80, that's what I was thinking of. I think I'd seen some conversations on the internet about Hellblasters running up, disembarking, and then re-embarking.
Isn't that what Harlequins do? Are Space Marines elves now?
Yeah, I mean, cue that meme with the dude shooting the other dude in the back of the head in front of Earth. Always have been.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's fun to think about like where would this model sort of naturally collect dirt,
right?
and then just go ham.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
There's kind of no way to do it wrong. Just have fun with it.
Oh, someone gifted a bunch of memberships. We missed it. Thank you, Bryce. Hey, we know Bryce. Thank you for the memberships. Appreciate it.
Bryce.
Bryce. Zach, will you answer Bryce?
What did he had a question?
Since he hurt his ankle, I don't know if he knows if he's playing AOS.
Oh.
Yeah, up against. Yeah, people are talking rules. AP and damage just isn't there. Okay.
For the Redeemer?
Yeah, super. Are you just talking the army in general?
That's a good question.
Oh, I think he's talking about melee.
Melee, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Yeah.
For Blood Angels, which is his primary faction.
I think he's... Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ty's talking about wanting to advance in charge, but Super Edie is skeptical.
Well, I'm curious, you guys in chat, have you done any awesome weathering projects? What is the coolest vehicle or model that you've weathered? I think you could also do some cool stuff on some like Tyranid chitin.
Ooh, yeah.
Or some sort of like bone armor. I think there'd be an cool opportunity to do some neat weathering work on like bone swords or Seraphon big dinos or something like that.
If you paint a scar, is that weathering?
I think it kind of is.
Chat, is if I paint a scar on a Catachan's arm, is that weathering or
that's battle damage?
That's battle damage, fair enough.
Right, but which kind of falls into the same category.
Yeah. Jules, End of Empires finally got sniped. There was
dun dun dun.
There was a while we were trying to get Jules. But thank you for the memberships. We appreciate those. Those help the channel out immensely. You know, help us keep the lights on, or the AC on, which is actually off right now, and it's already getting hot.
We wanted to make sure you guys weren't bothered by super noisy air conditioners. So.
Oh, something we want to do. So let's end this chat or this poll. Sorry.
Poll. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask about that.
Yeah. Like people are saying no, they don't
varnish.
Know. Only people. Yeah, exactly. See, chat knows. They know.
Yeah, I wish I'd varnished before today.
All right, chat. We do have another poll though, and this is actually it's important stuff that we need to know for this chat, or with this poll.
Second poll.
Okay. It is.
Wait for it.
Which? Would you say community?
Oh yeah. Which sort of hobby has the coolest / best weathering options or techniques or sort of does the best job with their weathering. We here are partial to trains. We've been on a trains kick recently, but if you build Gundam kits, or we were talking about in the intro, the MAK stuff. There's a bunch of like sort of less like Warhammer's the big boy in the gaming space, but there's a bunch of other amazing IPs that have and hobbies that have awesome weathering opportunities that you can learn from, right?
That's what these would. Yeah, that's right?
Sure.
Do you have any more? Okay. All right, chat. Who's the best weathering?
Doing a scientific poll.
This is for science.
Yeah.
I feel like I know the answer. And listen, if you put Warhammer, I'm gonna say you're probably wrong. Even though that's what we're doing.
We are applying we're learning from other people's hard work.
Yeah.
Here today.
All right. I'm going to try and speed up this sponge weathering just so I can show you guys some other techniques. I can always go back and do this later.
Sure, yeah.
But I want to knock some of it out. Knock out as much of it as I can right now.
Yeah, I think so. I generally have two kind of types of weathering I do.
Yeah.
On this model, I'll do sort of high speed, low drag kind of weathering, like I'm doing here, where I'm dragging effectively a sponge dry brush across the front leading edges of the wings on this devilfish model. But then after I sort of wrap this up, which I'm very close to. I'll then go and do something similar to like what you're doing with a paintbrush.
Right.
Sort of individually add chipping effects to specific panel lines or edges that I want to add a little more visual interest to.
Yeah, makes sense. Again, like we said, it's a good way to break up that non-random randomness.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
And so something I actually that I'm not actually showcasing this time around is actually not, maybe I will. I lied. I'm going to show you something, even though I'll probably just go over it. I'm going to borrow some of Zach's yellow paint.
Yellow paint?
Yes. This looks right. This is Dorn yellow. I've never used this before. Also, this doesn't look like Dorn to me. I don't know, but...
Isn't Dorn the founder of the Salamanders?
No, he is... Oh my gosh. I got a quiz for you later. And you're already it's already looking bad.
This is foreshadowing of the quiz to come.
Thank you, Molecule Cody. I chose Warhammer to troll Cire. Why would you?
Well done, Molecule. Well done. I approve.
All right, it's okay. You can be wrong. Okay. Ooh, this paint is lumpy.
Is that intentional? Is it a texture paint that you chose?
Oh, is it a texture paint? Oh no, it's just bad.
I'm also trolling Cire.
All right, chat. Who wants the? Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it anyway. Rumbly time.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
There we go. Can I borrow your tweezers?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Actually, let me set the camera up.
All right, so I've transitioned to silver while Cire's setting that up.
Oh, well, let's show it. Let's show it.
Okay.
Can you move into the light a little bit? Actually, I'm gonna point your light down a little bit.
Okay.
I feel like it's higher up than it normally is.
Sure. So the thought process here is that when something takes some kind of damage, whether it's from dust or debris, my thought process is there's sort of two levels of damage that something can suffer. So sort of more superficial will just be, it'll end up black. And so that's kind of what I've done here with the black paint, is I've shown where the whatever debris this vehicle has run into, debris field, has removed the paint, and so you've exposed like the primer underneath. So even vehicles and tanks and cars, like before they paint them, they prime them, and so that's what the black is here. It's showing a spot where the paint on the vehicle has come worn off and the primer is exposed.
Yes, weirdly enough, we're painting in reverse here.
Yeah, that's right.
We're using a layer above to represent a layer below.
And then sort of if this chipping, this rock that hits the front of the vehicle as it's going really fast, hits it even harder, it will not only scrape off the paint, it'll scrape off some of the primer as well. And so you'll expose whatever base materials underneath. And in this case, I think for visual interest, I'm imagining that whatever's underneath this is metallic because it kind of shows better and it looks cool. Again, we're sort of focusing on rule of cool rather than, realistic effects. But, maybe Tau vehicles don't have metal underneath maybe this is like a plasteel or some sort of ceramic composite, or who knows, like it's some futuristic techy material that's not a metal color. But just like this reads the way you would sort of expect it to read, which is, that this is a metallic chassis, and the whatever's chipped this has chipped off the paint, chipped off the primer, and now you're left with just whatever the base material is. And then, if you end up with sort of too much just straight metallic, or sort of goes on too solidly, you can break it up a little bit by kind of going back with black and touching up the edges a little bit. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just gonna add some metallic to the rest of these black areas that I've sponged on,
building up those layers of exposing the layers of the.
All right, then you wanted to show us something as well.
I'm gonna switch it so I don't give chat motion sickness. Can you tell me when I'm approximately in screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Perfect.
All right. So what I'm doing... Oh, a little out of focus. I'll refocus in a second. So I've grabbed this Dorn yellow, which is like a much lighter yellow. We are going to do our regular sponge thing. Yeah, let me get it in the light here. Like it. Go like that.
There you go.
Come on. Okay. Yeah, let's do this area right here. So I'm going to sponge on some of this much lighter white. And so this is just this just shows differently. Man, I'm really regretting I don't normally regret varnishing, but this is so shiny it's reflecting all the light.
Can't see what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't think chat can see it very well. Okay. Chat, can you guys see that? Well, I gotta get it the right area.
Yeah,
do you see this white edge?
Can you point at it?
Yeah, right here. That is not a reflection.
I see.
That is white paint.
Yeah.
Right, so I've been doing brown chipping. But there you go, you have the white. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill in those dots. Fill in those white areas with that brown paint I was using before. And let it focus.
There you go.
There we go. I'm just going to fill those in. And this is basically doing what you were doing, right?
Yeah.
But instead of metal,
right,
it's showing like, okay, well there was a layer of yellow. There was probably a lighter paint under the yellow that they used to prime the yellow. But then like the base material is probably like a black color, maybe like a steel, like a treated steel. But because it's been oxidized and exposed, it's probably turning a little brown and rusty.
I like it. And if...
Oop.
Actually, after you...
It's really... okay. There we go, chat.
That looks great.
There we go. Right? These little things like that. Now it just looks like the chip is kind of peeling around this exposed area.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. And that's just a slightly different look. Oh. It doesn't want to focus. There we go. Slightly different look, right? As opposed to something like this. I'll show you the front. I think that, funnily enough, this like strictly brown actually makes it look more weathered. Looks a little more beaten up. But yeah, the white adds, kind of an interesting...
It makes it look a little different from other parts. So, actually, Cire, can you just point the camera at the table here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to sort of talk a little bit of theory real quick.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to, just on the paper.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. So I'm about to go to chipping, and I'm basically going to do the same thing that I just did, where I'm going to start by painting on with black a blob on the model. And I'm going to paint it on in black, and this is going to sort of represent an area that a rock has hit the tank. And again, I imagine that the black is like the primer underneath the paint. And then I'm going to take my silver that I'm using and sort of paint on top of the black, but I'm going to leave a little bit of the black outline. So I'm going to create this like inner silver blob inside the black blob, if that makes sense. And just kind of create a black outline around what is essentially a silver chip. And so the idea is that here it's a...
Oh, is it?
Can you see it there? Yeah.
Yeah, let's zoom in a little.
Wow. So you can see kind of what I'm going for here. So this is kind of generally the idea that I'm going for to try to create is a silver blob inside of a black outline. And the idea is that a rock hit this thing, it chipped away the paint, it chipped away the primer, but kind of around the edges of the chip, you can see where the primer is kind of outlining the damage, the battle damage. And so this is much enlarged.
Yeah.
All right, you can go back to the camera now. But I'm going to I just wanted to show you guys kind of in an enlarged view what my objective is.
Right.
And so now I'm going to do that like 100 times smaller in the cracks and crevices and the edges of the panel lines.
Okay. I want to show something off in a moment too, actually. So I'm actually going to, it's kind of like we're doing a lot of similar things, just kind of in different areas.
Yeah.
So, okay, what I'm going to say actually is when I show it, it's probably not going to actually make much sense, but remember rule of cool.
Rule of cool.
Rule of cool is
Yeah.
the main thing you got to remember, especially with weathering. All right. I focused a lot of the weathering on the front, bottom, right here, right? So this is where this tank would constantly be hitting rocks.
Right.
There'd be a lot of stuff getting kicked up. It'd be brushing past things, scratching, you know.
Yep.
So I'm going to focus the chipping much heavier here. Don't overdo it, you know. But this is I was a little hesitant about going on flat panels on the top. Don't be so hesitant. Don't hesitate around here. Because look, this is where stuff would be getting constantly kicked up and scratched.
Yep.
And so not only are we going to do a little bit of heavier weathering there, we can do more brush work. Grab my dark rust again, and then I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Jules says, I'm not a big 40K person, but I like Brett's vehicle. What is it called? I don't know. That's also coming up later.
This is called a devilfish, yeah. And it is the troop transport for the Tau Empire. So it's sort of the Tau equivalent of like a Rhino.
Yeah, like
or
APC,
or a Chimera.
IFE.
Yeah.
Okay. Jules, out of curiosity, what do you play? You mostly play AOS, or? Okay. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this vehicle is one of the... some people get drawn to this faction because they like the battle suits. Other people like the infantry. I really like the vehicles.
Vehicles?
The tanks, yeah.
Okay.
A very different aesthetic to a lot of other factions in 40K.
All right. Can you
Yeah.
pointer right here-ish?
Yeah, you're good.
Can you zoom in? Sorry. Oh, this is finally a good shot.
Got the lighting right?
Yes, finally.
Here we go.
Okay, so this is the front of the tank. This is the front bottom section of the tank. All I'm gonna do is I'm going to hand paint some streaks. So a good idea is to start at the edges. Oop, can you?
Yep.
Occasionally we'll need to refocus. Can
Sure.
you just slightly
an eye on
half tap that? And we're just gonna think, where would the rocks getting kicked up? They would probably get kicked up like this, right?
Yep.
Like that.
A few little squiggly lines.
Yep, squiggly lines. Something I like to do is to break it up. Think the rock like kicks up, then comes back like that.
Yeah.
Right. Take
Yep.
some chips there. You can also start these mid panel, right? It doesn't need to start at the edge. You can start over here, right?
Yeah.
Right here.
One of the things I like about weathering is that you can really just like paint your whole model and then take a break from your army. If you just painted 2,000 points of dudes,
Yeah.
and you're like, I'm burnt out on this stuff, and you can play them as completely clean.
Yeah.
And then, a year later, you can come back to it and add some weathering.
Once they're actually battle hardened.
Once they're actually battle hardened, yeah. And then you can even come back to it later still and do more weathering if you want. You're like, I played these guys for a couple years and I like the way they're painted, but I wanna add a little more. We talk about leveling up your army. And this can be a way that you can level it up after you've gotten it battle ready.
Mm-hmm. So like just a couple, like you can tell, like this is just a pretty different look, right? There's like chips. It looks like there's almost like some motion to it. I'm gonna add some more, but that should give you the idea. I'll probably add some right here. Right here to continue that looks like forward motion.
Yeah, it can give you a sense of speed or a sense of motion. Yeah.
And you can also continue that the higher up you go. I would just do less, right? Those rocks would be concentrated, or those rocks getting kicked up would be more concentrated at the bottom. Yeah,
we've said it before, but I think this is a cool way to tell a story of speed or of motion or of these guys have been to places and seen things, and that's because this vehicle. What what's another interesting way to do it is like, who's your common opponent? And like, if you fight Tyranids a lot, you can do like claw marks.
Lots of slashes.
Slashing. Yeah. Your weathering could be very sort of line based.
Yeah. If you're playing Tau, there'd probably be lots of like burn, like ion burns, right?
Well, if you're playing Tau, you would just, if you're playing against Tau a lot, you probably just wouldn't have any models left because they'd be all
they're all dead.
Shot and exploded from miles away. Yeah.
No, not my models.
Oh, not
mine would be fine.
You would be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They're Space Marines.
The Emperor protects.
Yeah.
I see. All right. Well, clearly you have not studied the Tau quiz that you're about to receive later this episode.
When should we do that? Maybe do that at 5:30.
Okay.
We've got 2 quizzes. I've got a Salamanders quiz for Brett, and he's got a Tau quiz for me. And I realized, wow, I really don't know anything about Tau. Like I know the memes of Tau, you know,
enough to be dangerous.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm gonna do some sweet chat. Check this out. Sorry, I just got a good idea. Look at this. We got some nice real estate right here. And we're gonna ruin it. Let's see. We're gonna go like this. We got a nice line, and then we're gonna go start with a pretty big chip, and then we're just gonna taper it out.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like the way that turned out. There we go.
Speed.
There we
go. Look
at
that speed.
Do a couple of little chips right here too.
Very nice.
There you go.
Yeah. Now, are you gonna go and do a second, like in the same way that I'm doing the silver over the black? Are you gonna do a second coat over your black?
So on some of them I will,
right.
Not all of them.
Yep.
So you'll notice I'm doing some of these a little bit bigger.
Right.
And so if some of the bigger chips, you'd think, well, they're probably more exposed.
Yep.
So that's when you add in. So we started with our dark rust. Guess what we're doing for the next layer of rust?
Medium rust.
It's light rust, but
oh, you're jumping straight from dark to light. Sorry.
Yeah, we like to keep it dramatic.
All right. So you're taking some shortcuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is weathering. This is not a. We're not trying to go too crazy.
I'm just giving you crap, okay? Your models are some of the best painted models I've ever seen.
All right. So
this man does not take shortcuts.
So let's go here. All right. It looks so. Chat, you can't really tell. These scratch marks are actually a dark brown and not a black. It's pretty subtle, but you can actually tell the difference in person. Or at least I think you can. Anyway, see these bigger marks like right here, this big guy right here, and this big guy right here. Just inside of those, we've got some thinned down light rust, and we're just gonna place some dots like that.
Got it. Okay.
They don't need to be uniform. Just go a little light, just a little bit. This should be pretty thin, actually. This is actually like relatively thin. And then just some dots, like that.
Nice. Yeah. I think we missed a super chat.
Oh, did we?
Mind scrolling
Sorry.
back a little bit?
Yeah.
You can pick that up.
Do. Oh, Zesticle says, nerds. Only do this because I don't have any questions but want to spar. Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Zesticle.
If you think of another question, let us know, Zesticle.
And then maybe keep going.
Oh, was there another one?
I think so.
Gosh, we're terrible at this. Oh, oops. I must have just skipped it because Molecule Cody sent it.
Thank you for the support, Molecule
yes.
and Zesticle.
How do you paint emotional damage? Ooh, that's rough.
Is there a type of weathering that you would use
for emotional damage? Just cry on your models.
Psychic bullets.
Yeah. Just think of something real sad.
Cry on your models.
Just cry on your models.
Oh man.
Get some nice tide marks or
water some coffee staining.
Yeah, coffee stains. Oh, thank you, Jules. I think you guys missed a super chat, but we didn't miss this one. Thank you, Jules.
Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to see what Jules plays. They said they don't play 40k, so or they're not big into 40k. Oh yeah, Fantasy Orcs and Goblins, so Iron Jaws about to build paint 20 Ard boys and their big boss. Sick.
Love it. Yeah, orcs are great.
Yeah, super pretty.
So
Yeah,
many neat.
I legitimately thought that the camera might die. I'm like finally getting a decent shot. All right.
Okay. Is it time for our quiz?
Uh,
Not quite there yet? No, you said 5:30.
5:30.
All right, cool.
Three more minutes. I'm gonna do. Yeah, so I'm not gonna finish the sponging today. I'm just because I mostly want to showcase some stuff.
Yeah, just showcase some techniques.
So next I'm gonna do. I'll do a little bit of panel lining, and then
Okay.
I want to finish with some like rust streaks. Actually, I'm gonna do rust streaks and a little bit of powder.
You want to flip back to me, and I
Sure.
can I can kind of show where I'm at before we.
Whoa, sorry, I'm getting the the camera all twisted up. Actually, we should move this out of the shot. There we go. Lumix.
Okay. So I've been doing these brushed on little black streaks, and so you can see I've mostly been focusing on. You can see a bunch of them sort of pretty clearly on this area where I painted the gray panel, or sorry, the orange panels. But I've also done a bunch kind of up here. You can see some. Here you can see some. I've done a little, like there. And I'm just kind of like, wherever I see sort of an area where I like to have them sort of facing backwards from where a panel line crosses sort of the stream of airflow. So if there's a chip that's going to catch, it's probably going to catch sort of on the back side of a panel line. And then I'll just put a little black dot there. And so I'll do some kind of on the leading edges of things or on the trailing edges of things. And then I'll just kind of, and then occasionally, every once in a while, you do some that are just in the middle. And so like here's one in the middle as well. And you just kind of, until you get to a point where you've got enough visual interest on the model in the form of black splotches. and then yeah, you can just kind of call it quits at any point once you've gotten that
John McCardle,
dirtying up.
thank you for all his memberships, bunch of memberships. Thank you, appreciate it. That
Thank you, John.
helps us keep the. Listen, John McCardle already knows he's keeping half the 40k channels alive. I see him every time I'm watching a stream.
He's a hero of 40k YouTube.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. And then now I've got my my silver paint, and I'm gonna go back and find these areas that I've brush painted black and just kind of do some touch my brush into the center of those black spots and add a little silver detail right there. Just to, as we talked about earlier, is the plan.
Exposing those under layers.
The base, whatever material this is made out of, it's showing through. And I'm only doing this in some of the larger spots. I'll just leave the smaller spots black only. So this is another way to add visual interest, is by doing some of these, black only, and others black with silver on the inside.
Some of these are older, some of these are more surface level.
Yep.
Cool. Saul said he's painting something said he's painting a beard. I want to know what's up with that.
Yeah, he's doing his gargants.
Oh, sick.
And he's doing a dry brushed beard on his gargants.
Ooh,
he's posting
nice.
photos in the Discord earlier today.
Hey, yeah. Speaking of John, finally painting this Land Raider for Heresy. Actually, I know that technically you can't use a Land Raider Redeemer in Heresy, which itself is heresy. How you're telling me during all of the Horus Heresy, no one thought, hey, why don't we strap some flamethrowers on this tank?
Why don't we strap some giant flamethrowers on this?
So, I know I'm going to use it in Heresy as a regular Land Raider, but if someone's cool, if we're talking about, having us, talking with your opponent before a game, maybe I'll convince them it's I feel like it's very thematic for Salamanders.
Sure.
Right.
What do Land Raiders have in Heresy? Just las cannons?
Just las cannons. I think there's also there's one variant that has like a weird mortar thing.
Oh, yeah, that is weird.
Yeah, but yeah, mostly las cannons.
Flamethrowers make a lot of sense because Land Raiders' whole job is to transport troops
to get it close
into the enemy,
Yeah.
and once you're there, you want to be flamethrower and stuff, right?
Sweet. Yeah, John McCardle's mentioned that Liam from if you're not, I mean, everyone here is right. Subscribe to Liam Dempsey. If you're not, go subscribe to him. Friend of the channel.
Very cool.
Just got his studio, his own studio.
Oh, that's rad.
Super cool. Super. I didn't get to see the stream because I was driving, but yeah, congrats to him. And Tim Bit says yes, you can put flame spawns. Thank you, Tim. Oh man.
Tim says he will allow it.
Have you seen Tim's army? His
The
white scars?
scars, yeah.
Oh, dude.
He's been posting photos in the Discord.
Yeah.
Progress shots, and it's gorgeous.
All right, tell me if I'm wrong. Tim, you went to what's that event that SN puts on? The
one on a boat? The
Yeah.
Gibraltar
yeah. They had a heresy event.
battle on a boat or something like that.
Yeah, so yeah. Tim, did you went there and I think he won best army?
Wow.
This was a while ago.
And it's a hobby focused event. I
Yeah.
believe.
Tim, am I wrong? If I'm not like no, I lost. He's like super mad about it or something.
It's invite only, and in order to get invited,
Yeah,
you
no
have to-
retreat. Thank you. It's called no retreat.
You have to have a really well painted army.
Yes. I've seen. Did not go to no retreat. I'm going next week. Okay. He's going.
You're going next week to no retreat?
He says he's going to no retreat next
Oh,
week.
Tim.
Well, I feel like he's a shoo-in for best army. It's incredible.
Yeah. So that's the event that he's painting these white scars for, then, presumably.
I believe so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, if you're not on the Discord, you should go
You
just to go
should join
see.
just to go see Tim's
You should go
army.
see Tim's army. You should also. He has an Instagram, but I think it's Tim's Mins. You can put it in the chat. Second for best army, dude. That's
Still impressive.
still extremely impressive. Listen, they're first in my heart. I fucking love white scars. So good. I have a weird story. I think, and I keep not painting. Tim, I thought you were local to this area. I think, are you in Gibraltar? Are you in Spain? I mean, sorry, don't dox yourself. If you're not from southern
California.
southern Bay Area, California. Thank you. It's Tim's Vins on Instagram. You should check him out. Because one time you'd mentioned, I'm going to Guild House to go play, and I'm like, wait, is he?
But it's a different guild house?
I think it's a different Guild House.
That's not a bad name
It was
to,
very confusing.
for a gaming venue. Then.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said he was going to some event at the Guild House. I'm like, oh my god, he's part of Fault Line? How have we never met?
That's the name of our the game lounge that
Yes,
we'll play.
that our local plays in. He's in Canada. Still probably not the same Guild House.
So probably not.
Okay.
All right. Speaking of white scars and salamanders,
Yes. Zach Pfeiffer says we're like Laurel and Hardy. Zach, I'm not 60 years old. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? Laurel and Hardy?
I'm assuming it's a television reference, and
No one watches TV.
and yeah,
What is he
we all
talking
read
about?
books, Zach.
Zach, read a book. All right, yes, we have
Learn some science.
Yeah, learn science.
book.
Read a book. All right, we're doing we're doing is it segment? Yeah. Okay. We're gonna have to
We
move
did it.
We're gonna have to move this camera around.
Okay.
We made this right before stream. This is what we were taking. No, I don't know what Laurel. I don't know.
It sound like people's names.
Zach is insisting we know what Laurel and Hardy is. I don't know what it is. I've heard of it. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so I'm a pretty hardcore Salamanders fan,
Yeah.
player, even
Sure.
though their books are terrible. Even though their Black Library books are not good.
That's how you know that you're a fan.
Yes,
Because you
I stick with them even.
stick with them. That's right.
They're like Abbott and Costello. What the hell is he talking about? Who's that?
Abbott and Costello. I knew Abbott and Costello. They did
I know.
Abbott and Costello.
Yeah, I just messed with
Who's that?
you. Who the hell are you talking about?
Who's Abbott and Costello?
Are they on TikTok?
Are they on Snapchat?
Yeah, they're on Snapchat. I don't think Snapchat's. Anyway, let's do this quiz. Anyway, so I'm a big Salamanders guy. You know of the Salamanders a little bit, so I didn't
I'm
go
aware.
super easy on you.
Yeah, good.
All right,
So
so
asking me some salamanders.
I'm
questions.
asking you some also, hold on, I'm also misspelling these words. Look, I was trying to make these real fast before. Ignore the typos. I know they're there. Anyway, what was the Salamander's Legion number during the Harrison?
I have no idea.
Oh,
They're not. Are they a first found? They're not like a first founding chapter, right?
they are first founding chapter.
Are they really?
Yes, they're
Okay,
one
cool.
of
You
the
just
original
gave me a
Legion.
hint. Sweet. I'm gonna say 8.
8. Wrong. They are not 8. That is the Night Lords. I see why you might. I can see why you might be confused because
Yeah, I have no idea.
even GW sometimes gets them confused.
With the Night Lord?
Yes.
Really?
There's been
Is there
several
a story
typos. Yes, where they both get the Legion numbers mixed up, 8 and 18, Night Lords and Salamanders, but they also get the name of their homeworld mixed up. One is Nostromo, one is Nocturne, and they've mixed them up several times.
I couldn't even tell you. It must be Nostromo, right?
No, it's Nocturne. Nocturne is Salamander.
My gosh. All right. Cool. All right. I'm failing on all
You're
accounts here.
doing terribly.
All right. Next question. Let me see if I can redeem myself.
All right.
With see what I did there?
Yes.
You're painting a redeemer.
Hold on. I gotta move this.
Want to quiz me on Land Raider variants? I probably know it.
I didn't plan this part. I'm gonna go here. Whoop. There we go. We only need to see our faces. All right. What 2 names did the Salamanders go by before they were known as the Salamanders? Chat, I might have gotten this one wrong because I swear I read this somewhere and then I couldn't find the answer right before stream. So this might be wrong.
Hold your breath. Yeah. All right.
I'm pretty sure I know which ones it is.
Dragon Warriors, Star Phantoms, Star Rams, Guy Fieri.
Guy's fiery.
That's Guy Fieri.
No. That's totally different.
Who has a TV show on Food Network, right?
Never heard of him.
Okay. I'm going to go with Dragon Warriors.
Okay, that's one. That is correct.
That is correct. All right.
Yeah,
cool.
Jules, yes, salamander spelled incorrectly.
Salamanders.
Yeah, that's how I spelled on the last
Salamanders.
one. Salamanders.
Okay. Cool. I got one.
You got one, but it's...
One for one.
No. There's 2 names.
Oh, there's 2 names.
Yes.
Goodness. Oh my. So I'm gonna say it's between B and C.
Not Guy Fieri.
I don't think it's Guy Fieri. I'm gonna go with Star Phantoms.
Oh, so close. It's Star Rams.
Star Rams.
Yes.
All right.
I'll give you. You get one. You get one.
Okay. Half a point.
Half a
which
point.
rounds up to a point.
Yes.
Cool.
That's how we do quizzes. All right. Last question for you, and then we're gonna switch over to the Tau quiz.
Okay. Which of these Salamanders characters currently have models? Brearth Ashmantle, Agrax Earthshade, Cassian Dracos, Vulcan Heston. So Vulcan is the Primarch. No, sorry, the Chapter Master, right?
Yes. Well, no. He's an important character.
He's an important character.
So there could be multiple. It's which of these currently have models?
Currently, so it could be multiples.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go with A and D.
That's almost right. It is actually only D because they don't
Only
make
D.
this. They used to have this model and they discontinued it for some reason.
Discontinued.
And I can't believe they did it.
All right, so that was a bit of a trick
bring 'em
question.
back. Yes, it was.
Previously existed.
Yes.
And there's another one that what's the dread? Isn't there a dreadnought character?
That's him. Actually, these are both the same. Brearth Ashman and Cassian Dracos are the same model.
Oh,
They're just
after he died and
Yeah.
got put into a dreadnought.
yeah. So
Got it. Okay, interesting.
yes.
Very cool.
All right.
Agrax Agatone is his real name, right?
Adrax.
Adrax.
Adrax Agaton.
Agrax Agatone, but everyone calls him Agrax
Earthshade.
Earthshade.
My bro, Agrax Earthshade will always spot you at the gym. It's probably my favorite, one of my favorite models actually. Adrax Agaton, it's so good. All right, so, do you want to quiz me now, or do you want to give it a break, or?
Yeah. Do you want to? Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
So
we're gonna hop into.
So this is the same thing. We just instead of we're gonna ask Cire some Tau questions.
Whoops.
Test him on his knowledge of the Tau faction. Which of the following, these four, is not a Tau vehicle?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Which of
what do you
these is
think?
not a Tau vehicle?
So, as we know, Tau vehicles are often named after ocean life forms.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like I've never heard of a hero fish, but I'm wondering if that's a trick.
Okay, yeah.
I know the hammerhead is one. I know the orca is one.
Okay.
I've never heard of the sawfish, but that might be some weird Forge World stuff.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with D, hero.
That is not correct.
There's a model called Hero.
The answer is Sawfish. Yeah, the Hero is a Battlefleet Gothic spaceship.
Oh,
It is a spaceship,
okay.
a Tau spaceship. Yeah, weirdly, the Tau spaceships are not named after fish.
That's very weird.
Yeah.
That's especially weird because their whole naming convention comes from Imperials naming them, right? It's not
Right.
like act. So why would the Imperials names one of their ships? Oh, that's the Hero
That's
class.
the Hero. They would call it the like God, I hate that thing class.
The loser class.
The loser
ship.
class. That's right. Yeah.
a
No,
bit
and
weird.
it's especially interesting because they have a Tau name in like the Tau language
Yeah.
for all of these things, and then in parentheses afterwards it just says Hero.
Yeah.
So like obviously it's Hero is the imperial name for it.
They're named after sandwiches.
Yeah. Sawfish. It does not exist.
Sawfish doesn't exist.
That was
Okay, I knew that.
That was a fake.
You faked me out, you
Gotcha.
tricky Eldar. All right,
All right.
quiz. Sorry, Tau. Sorry, it just comes
It's
naturally
just come
because
naturally
salamander.
because
thing.
they're all the same.
Yeah,
right?
they're all aliens are the same to me.
Okay, what color is Tau blood?
Okay, I feel like this is also a trick question.
There's a lot of drama associated with
I think
Tau blood.
I think I know the answer, and I think it's only because of I asked this question when it came to orcs.
Oh, interesting.
I think orc blood used to be black, and then they changed it to red, and then they changed everyone's color to red.
Yeah, because
blood
like
color to red.
orcs are fungus, right?
Yeah.
So do they their blood would be, I don't know, the fungus like whatever sap
Yeah,
color
like whatever.
fungus has.
So I'm gonna say it's red
Okay.
because I think it probably used to be blue
Yeah.
or maybe black,
Yeah.
but then I think they wanted to make everything the same color.
Yeah.
Is it red?
Who freaking knows?
There's no answer.
There is no answer to this question. It's probably A or B. Classically, there's a lot of compelling arguments for blue.
Uh-huh.
And then, yeah, you're right. There was sort of a GW lore retcon that
Yeah.
happened at some point in 10-ish years ago, and there's now sort of published works that indicate that it's red. So
Okay.
yeah, I will always paint my Tau as having blue blood if I ever were to do battle damage. But like, if I'll give it to you if you want to say it's red. If you want to
Right.
paint your Tau when
I paint their blood, I
you
will paint
their
it
blood,
red.
Yeah, if you have dead model on the
Yeah.
base. If you want to really set me off, have it have red blood. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
It's weird. This towel is covered in someone else's blood.
Yeah, what's going
Weird.
on here?
What's up with that?
Yeah. All right. Question
Okay,
number 3.
last question. What is the climate of the Tau homeworld?
What is the climate of the? And so we're talking about the Tau homeworld is called Tau,
And the race is called Tau.
and the race is called
That's
Tau.
very
It's like if humans lived on human.
Yeah. Planet human.
But yeah, the Tau homeworld of Tau is described in the lore as having what kind of climate?
Okay. I'm going to say...
Keep in mind that all of their vehicles are named
named-
after fish.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I feel like tropical is
Yeah.
like, that's a trick.
Mhm.
Because tropical would make sense, so it's probably not that.
All right. Interesting.
Polar, I feel like it's not polar.
Okay.
They don't strike me as like snow tundra people.
Right. Okay. You don't see them wearing Russian tall furry hats.
No, they don't wear ushankas.
Yeah.
Although, that would be interesting. Arid, I feel like it might be... I could see it being arid. I could
Okay.
see desert. I could
Yeah.
definitely... I could also see it being temperate, though.
Yeah. Final answer.
You know what? No, this is Tau.
Yeah.
And Tau are like, it's all of them.
all of the above.
Yes, it's all
just,
of them.
It's just
It's-
like it's,
Yes,
it's like Earth,
it's
right?
like a regular
It's
planet.
like a regular planet.
Yes.
No, it's arid.
It is arid.
It
Okay.
is arid. They're described as being on a desert planet.
Interesting. Okay.
Real low, and it's actually there's a lot of talk about sort of how they manage their water. So it's not it's not Dune-esque in terms of aridness, but it's described as a sort of
kind of a desert
arid planet. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna climb it. Yes. All
yeah,
right.
that was a good answer though. I like it. All of them.
I
All
feel
of the
like
above.
the secret answer is like it's actually just a very normal planet.
It's actually just like Earth.
Yeah,
just
it's just Earth.
What you would normally expect.
Tim asks, "Are they close to fish or lobsters?" I think we said that they're. I said camels actually.
Yeah, tower sort of. They have hooves.
And they have camel noses.
And they are from arid planets.
Yes.
And they are also talked about as having, I think, in the stomach, in the lore, as having multiple stomachs.
Oh, interesting.
In like xenology. So I think like cows are probably more accurately goats are sort of the closest terrestrial animal to Tau.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say camel because, the nose, the hooves.
Yeah.
And camels like to spit, which is a ranged weapon, and that's what Tau are all into.
I like it. Yep.
Yeah.
And goats are good at climbing and kicking, which Tau are probably not very
good. Not very good at kicking. I just want to go back and read some chats, make sure I didn't miss anything.
Yeah.
People were saying red. At one point in orc biology was symbiotic with fungus and animal to make a orc. Weird.
We need an orc expert on the show to talk to us.
Do we
about
have an orc
biology.
expert? It sounds like Bryce might be that expert. We should have him back on.
Yeah, to talk about.
Yeah, he can wear a mushroom suit this time instead of a hot dog suit.
Yeah, if you saw, Bryce was on the show last weekend, not last weekend, the weekend before, and he wore a hot dog suit. It was amazing.
All the climate's like a normal planet. Yeah, exactly. See, that's what I thought.
Yeah, except no, not that.
Yeah. How can you limit one planet to one body? Yeah. Wasteland and terraform poorly.
All right, I'm doing a little bit of edge highlighting now.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, let's. Sorry, I was reading chat, trying to catch up.
So I think there are a small number of hard edges on this model that I want to pick out, mostly kind of up here.
This is getting a little zoomy.
Yeah,
there we go.
Mostly kind of like up here. I want
good lighting. I'm gonna turn my lights down too. There we go.
There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna pick out a few of these, and I don't, there's different styles for edge highlighting. I don't like doing full edge highlighting where I do, some people will do this where they literally draw a bright line on every single edge. And I don't like that look. So I prefer to sort of pick out individual little corners like this. Or then even if I'm doing a section, let's see here, this section here.
Ooh, there we go. There we go.
So I'm going to just kind of do a little bit in the middle. And when I'm doing this, I'll try to sort of fade the line. So it has sort of it's thin here, and then thicker in the middle, and then thin on the end again. Kind of have it look like there's a bright spot here, and it's kind of fading off to either side. So that's kind of how I like to do my edge highlighting, very selective, kind of in the same places that you would imagine. We talked about how you can think about how dirt and debris will hit your model. Well, you can also think about how light will hit your model.
Right.
And do some edge highlighting selectively in those spots. And I'm using the same color actually that I do the engines here. So it's this color that I'm edge highlighting with exists elsewhere on the model. I'm just using it for a different purpose.
Yeah, saves time, paint, and it gives the model a uniform look, but you're not introducing a random color.
Right. The other place I'm going to edge highlight on this guy is these little pads at the front.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those would be, speeding along, those areas would be catching a lot of rocks and bugs and probably bullets.
Yeah.
All right. All right, we got some nice real estate. I'm setting up some areas to set up some streaks later, some rust streaks. So you don't want to do too much chipping because then you won't have any, room to do additional types of weathering.
This is one of the things that I like about this model is that it's mostly curvy, but it has a few of these spots where there's hard edges, and it's neat to kind of pick those out and accentuate those as a and sort of compare you can contrast the difference between the different parts of the model, and it makes it stand out and adds a lot of visual interest when you sort of highlight the sharp edges on what is otherwise a very curvy model.
Yeah.
And I like that idea and that look.
Yeah. I agree. I think it, it just adds some, I don't know, contrast isn't always relegated to color, right? It having those, that contrasting of those hard edges to the contrast of the hard edges and the soft edges.
Yeah, for sure.
Is important. And that's something you can do with tile models, right? That's not something that, there's not very many soft edges on a Land Raider. So you should take advantage of it when the model presents it. All right.
Okay. You want to take the camera back and kind of show off what you're working on a little bit?
Sure. Go clean first.
And then spin this around.
Yep. Let's go the other way because of the. Right, I'm gonna come up here because the lighting's better.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Yep. So I am not finished. I'm not quite finished with the sponging, but I want to move on so I can show some other stuff later. Ooh. Oh. our my face is right in the. All right, we're gonna scooch over here real fast. There we go.
Nice. Yeah, it's a big model, and you're just kind of applying the same techniques over a bunch of different areas.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of
what we're doing today.
Yeah.
It's fine to just you can imagine the same technique applied in other areas.
Yeah. So, right here, I've got this nice big chip, right? Later on, I'm going to use some rust streaks, so I'm just setting this up now. I'm also going to do some, just paint on a couple of do some little scratches. Don't forget micro scratches. Those are, you really want to add a couple of just random little scratches like that here and there. You can cross them if you want. Just make sure you're doing these.
Give it that cell shaded look.
Yeah. Your little, it looks like a little tic-tac-toe looking thing. Yeah, don't forget these little guys here. All right. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some real thinned down dark rust.
Yeah.
It's almost like a wash. And this is kind of, I don't really even know how to describe it. So I'm pre-darkening an area for rust later.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, sorry, let's get it focused again. So all I'm going to do is I've got some real thin down dark rust, and I'm just going to pull down in a straight line.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. So this is like something leaked out.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's it's
a water drip down or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And so that's not how it's going to look at the final stage, but we want to darken it up so that there's I'm going to put some oil paint on it later. And just having this being a little bit darker below will make it look like it's been maybe leaking for a while.
I like that. Yeah. It's you can sort of imagine like normally when rain hits this vehicle, it just beads up and rolls off because it's painted, right?
Yep.
But at some point, if there was a chip and the rock chip exposed some metal underneath,
Exactly.
and then that metal rusted. Now when rain hits it, it's going to pick up some of that rust and drag it down the side of the vehicle.
Exactly. You know, that rusty water will start coming down the edges. And I just put a little bit of that orange, that light rust inside of it. So it just looks like it's got a little more depth to it.
Yeah.
There it is. And we're going to do that
looks
all
great.
over the place.
I love that look.
Here we go.
So now, Cire,
Yeah.
when you are doing weathering like this, how do you know when to stop?
That is hard to know. I think I don't have a hard rule.
Yeah.
I think the rule of thumb is stop before you think. It's really easy to accidentally overdo it.
Yeah.
So put the model down and let it sit for a couple hours before when you're starting to think,
Yeah.
you're getting to a good point.
I think you don't know that it's too much until it's too much.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really hard to say, oh, I'm getting close. So that requires a little bit of experience. And you can always very easily do more.
Yes.
But especially like your airbrush fade is a little more obvious on your model.
Mm-hmm.
But my model does have some airbrush fading. And so it's really hard to undo weathering. You can't really go back. You
No.
can sort of, but like also it's just painful to like spend all this time chipping and streaking and all this kind of stuff. And then have this realization that like, oh shoot, I went too far.
Yeah.
I really should undo some of it. Like that's a painful
Yeah,
realization.
weathering can be a quick technique, but if you're doing lots of layers, it's pretty time intensive, and that's, you've already spent time painting the model
Yep.
and then painting over it with weathering, and now you're having to go back. It's just stop short, and let it sit for a day or a couple hours before
Yeah.
you go back to it.
Yeah, I was kind of kidding when I was saying, this is a thing that you can do. Later you've painted your model, and then you can come back a year later and do the weathering. And then if you think you want more weathering, you can come back a year later still and do a second round of it. But I actually think that's, maybe the numbers a year are a little exaggerated, but like that strategy is not a bad strategy.
No.
Because effectively what I'm saying is like, sit with your army for a little while before you weather it up.
Yeah.
And make sure that you want to weather it.
Yeah.
Make sure that you don't actually just really like the clean look.
Yeah.
Because that can look cool. And then once you've decided to commit to weathering, just do it a little bit, and then sit with that for a while and decide if you think it needs more or not.
Yeah.
You can easily get carried away.
Yeah. It's nice being able to have those different. You want to have some uniformity in your army and with your weathering, at least in the weathering styles. But it's cool to have like some, you have veteran models in your army.
Yeah.
You can have more beat up models that are maybe a little more battle hardened. So you can have light weathering, heavy weathering. You don't have to do it all at once. I can hear them talking. What are they talking about?
Important things, I think.
Very important.
So I'm working on a couple of drones. So these drones go in the cupolas on the side of the devilfish, and they need their center sections painted light gray. So I'm working on that, and then I'll do some edge highlighting on the edges of the drones. And I think these could even be weathered a little bit as well.
Yeah. Well, drones are weird, right? They're like pieces of equipment that you can like take on and off.
So yeah, you used to be able to, not anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, that the new Tau Codex rules for drones really simplify them down. For better or worse, I don't know. Like drones are always kind of both a unique and flavorful piece of the faction lore and the way the army played.
Right.
But also just really freaking annoying to deal with. So the quality of life of playing the army went way up when they sort of relegated drones to just war gear,
Right.
essentially. But yeah, like these drones are removable on the Devilfish, and it was important that you not glue them in because they could in the game. This is in previous editions. They could pop off and go off and do their own thing.
Yeah.
And then you needed sort of a way to denote that the drones had left the Devilfish and
Yeah.
and weren't there anymore. And
That's really cool thematic. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool game mechanic. They should bring that back.
And yeah, I'm sure they will. Warhammer is nothing if not. They don't.
Ever shifting.
They love recycling old rules, so it'll come back, I'm sure. Yeah, the idea is that it's a troop transport, and then once they transport the troops to wherever they're going, drones can pop off and provide like fire support.
Right. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Kind of wish there was an option for other types of drones to be carried in the cupolas instead of just gun drones, having marker light drones or shield drones or something. But for whatever reason, the only option's ever been gun drones. That's fine though.
Interesting choice, but yeah, I guess it makes sense, kind of, right? If it is a troop transport, I guess if you had like, what's it called, the Devilfish?
Yeah,
they had like a command Devilfish that's like, oh, they took all the troop transport out and they just put a bunch of like sensor equipment in it, and that can have like sensor drones would be an interesting idea.
Yeah. Pathfinders used to, well, they still can take a Devilfish as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a specialized drone called a recon drone, which fits in the top, sort of the
interesting.
The top hatch where the on the top of the vehicle here.
Yeah.
Right here. That piece comes out, and the Pathfinder recon drone can pop in there.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's meant to have sort of specialized sensor equipment and.
Okay, so they beat me to the idea.
Works similar to what you just described, I think. Yeah, they stole your idea.
They thought of everything.
They went into the future. They listened to this live stream. They were like, "That's Cire. He's onto something."
That sounds like a good idea. Okay, I think around 6:10 I'm gonna bust out the oil because then we've got to do we're gonna want to do fan stuff.
Yeah.
Around 6:15.
Okay. So you're gonna do some oils.
I will do a tiny bit. I think what I'm going to do in the meantime is what I probably should have done is just focus on one side of the Land Raider.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of spreading out but, oh well. I'm going to do a little bit of panel lining. So I'm going to do my quick complaining. I love Tamiya panel liner. It's great stuff. What I don't love is that they don't have a very good dark brown.
Really? You don't like the dark brown?
No. So,
I mean, it exists, right?
Well, sort of. This dark brown, as you can see, you kind of see the color, chat, right? It's like pretty dark. This is actually 60% black panel liner.
This is your own custom mix.
Yes. Because the light, maybe Zach has some, they're deep brown.
They're basic brown, yeah.
It just looks like rust.
It's very...
Which is good. Actually, weirdly enough, would probably be good for what we're doing now, but... Let me see if I can.
But it's a pretty light color, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
So, I guess you can't actually. This is going to make me sound
Look at it
ridiculous.
from the bottom, maybe?
Yeah.
Can you tell there?
Can you see, chat? It's like pretty different, right? This is the lighter one.
They look the same to me. Yeah.
It's different, I'm telling you. It's when it dries, it looks kind of orange, which is, like I said, we're doing.
It's sort of like a sepia wash, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's fine if you were looking to have like rust, but it doesn't look like dirt. And when I think brown, I want dirt.
Sure.
So I'm gonna do a little bit of panel lining. This is kind of satisfying to watch. So I'm actually.
Yeah, panel lining, especially if you've done the work to gloss varnish in advance.
Yes,
is
you should always varnish people.
And the gloss varnish helps the enamel, which is has super low viscosity. It helps it like run in the cracks.
Yeah, exactly.
And stay in the cracks.
Oh yeah. All right, check this out, chat. Look how satisfying. I hope it works. Hopefully it doesn't screw up. Look at this. Look at this
little tilt a little bit?
Ooh. Okay. like, just tap it in
There
there.
we go. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's the stuff.
that's good stuff. Oh yeah,
That's good.
perfect.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna do that all over the model. There's lots of little cracks to do this on, so and my fingers are gonna get in the way. Oh yeah, and then what's great is because we gloss varnish, if you get a little bit, you can just wipe it away.
I feel like Warhammer. This is like ASMR content for Warhammer hobbyists. Like watching panel liner flow into a gloss varnished
Oh yeah,
vehicle.
it's good stuff.
It's incredibly satisfying.
Yeah, my hand's getting in the way because I'm right-handed, and the camera's on the right. But you'll see it after. It's good stuff, chap. Trust me.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff.
Thank you, Saul. Saul says they just posted Brod's beard in the
Nice.
Work in Progress channel. I went gray and wanted his Brod to feel aged. So Ray, it's all pro acryl paints. Thank you guys for all the motivation.
Thank you. Yeah, we Saul had been talking about Pro Acryl paints and how I should try them, and I'm down. Look, I keep people who I trust with painting opinions keep telling me that Pro Acryl's the way to go.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to try it next round of paint buying.
Yeah, man, everyone's coming out with new paints. Like it wasn't that long ago. I guess it was a long time ago, but there was 2-3 brands of paint, and that was it. It was
Army Painter and GW.
It was not a lot, and or Vallejo even.
Yeah.
Vallejo's been around, and now it's like there's just a lot out there, and some part of me is like excited that people have options, and other parts of me is just it feels like it is overcomplicating a decision. Like do we need like 73 different brands of paints to decide between? And someone getting into the hobby is like can be overwhelming if you're just
starting out, right?
You're like, what's the best paint? And like you just get this, all the grognards in the chat are like rolling their eyes and groaning. They're like, well, do you want the one that's got the best coverage, or do you want single pigment, or do you want one that comes in triads, or do you want one that has better dropper bottle versus lid, or do you want like what is your definition of best? And the person asking the question literally just wants to know like
what
I don't know. I don't even know. I've never painted a model in my life.
Should I try contrast? No. I actually love contrast.
So yeah, I think it can be overwhelming, and I think I'm a firm believer in like the best paint line is the one that your local game store sells.
Yes.
Because if you need a color at the last minute, because you ran out of something or you want to try something, then you don't have to like order it on the internet and reach some minimum order quantity and pay a bunch for shipping and wait 3 days. Yeah. So even though none of our local game stores carry Vallejo, I still believe that.
My store local has some Vallejo, not a huge selection, but some is better than none, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. All right, I said I was going to do oil, so once I finish,
it's time.
It is time.
It is oil o'clock, sir.
All right. Not going to do a ton. I guess I'll just do it on the table.
Oh, you need a little cup? You got a little cup there.
Cardboard would be great. Or a piece of paper.
Oh, I got one here. You want to use this?
Sure. All right. So I've got here some Winsor and Newton.
Want to go back to front cam?
Oh, sorry. Winsor and Newton burnt sienna, which is
it's kind of halfway between brown and black.
Brown and orange.
Brown and orange. Okay.
Yeah. It's actually, when it dries, it's actually very orange.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I bought the Winsor and Newton starter pack.
Yeah.
It's like comes with a bunch of different colors, and it doesn't have burnt sienna in it. It's just got brown and black.
Oh, weird.
And so I end up like, should I then go and buy burnt sienna on its own as a standalone? I watched a bunch of videos on it, and a lot of people were advocating the use of that particular paint, burnt sienna, Winsor Newton burnt sienna.
Yeah. I think it is one of those that is, it's actually probably worthwhile.
Yeah.
It's just a pretty special color. Okay, I don't know which brushes he likes to use, so I'm not going to use any of this. I'll just use mine. I was going to use, I didn't know if he had, like, brushes he doesn't care about.
And Winsor Newton, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, sorry, but Winsor Newton is like, when people talk about paintbrushes, Winsor Newton's a pretty, like, high-quality brand.
Yes.
That is a really nice paintbrush. But weirdly, I think with their oil paints, they're sort of like bottom of the barrel, like starter level.
So there's multiple types of Winsor and Newton, right? So you have on here. Let's see. This is they have Winsor and Newton like oil color, and then artist color, and then student. So there's like different tiers. I don't know the exact order. I think student is probably the lowest.
Sure.
Artist, I think, is the higher.
Okay.
Tier. I might have those wrong. I'd have to double check. But they do have different like quality levels.
Right. And what do you get when you get a higher quality oil paint?
So with oils, they're a little, well, it's just like paint pigment density, stuff like that. But I've noticed that when you thin them, if you have poor quality oils, they get real gritty.
That is what I have noticed with my paints.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the sort of minimum particulate size that's sort of suspended in the oil solution is large.
Yeah.
They don't grind the pigments very finely.
Yes.
And so if you get nicer quality oil paints, you get finer ground pigments typically.
I don't know if that's the exact science behind it, but that's kind of the experience I've had. I don't know if it's the medium or maybe they use a different type of oil or something, but
and most of us use oils to essentially create washes.
Yeah.
And so I guess what I'm advocating is that pay a little more for the higher quality paint.
Yeah.
Because you want that fine ground pigment so that when it gets diluted with your thinner, your white spirits, and you're creating that wash, it sort of flows better and looks better, and you don't get sort of patchy.
Yeah, you don't want that
gritty.
Weirdly enough.
Yeah, you want it to look smooth. It's streaking to be smooth.
Yeah, I want this dirt to look not gritty.
Right.
But yeah, people are saying artist is the higher tier. Crypt Shadow and Tim are saying that.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quickly, I'm going to... maybe I should show people, huh? What do you think? All right. Remember that little guy I showed you earlier? Actually, maybe I can move this over here. Zoom out a little bit.
Did I give you my tweezers? I got them.
Okay. So this is not going to be crazy looking. So we have this. We already went over it. I'm just going to add a little bit of a little dot of burnt sienna. Put it there, and I'm actually going to let it sit for a second, so I can show you two different things.
And this is on top of the acrylic you've already done.
Yeah, so this one's going to be on top of the acrylic. Right? I've just put basically a dot. And then for a different little thing you can do. Okay, see this little skull? He's got this little chip below. This one, this brush is all crooked. I don't know if you guys can tell. We're going to do what we did with the acrylic, which is just draw it straight down.
Do a little streaking, yeah.
You draw it straight down. Like that. Oop. Right. Looks fine, but the real key is to let it sit for a little bit. You don't want to do this next step straight after. You want to let it get a little bit dry.
And these are oils, not enamels, right?
Yes, these are oils. So this next step, I've seen people do it both ways. I've got a brush here that has nothing on it. I've seen some people say you should dip it in white spirits and then dry it off a little bit. I've found that usually just lifts the paint up.
Well, it's
so
too much, yeah.
there's multiple ways. The way I'm going to show you it is you just get the brush completely dry.
Right.
And what you're going to do, hopefully enough time has elapsed. I'm trying to fit it into the show. So on this one, it's not going to be as obvious. Right? I focused it and then it completely went out of focus. Focus! Don't focus on that. Focus on that. There we go. You can't even really see it. I've got the little bits of oil in this dark spot. All you're going to do is very lightly brush down. Like this.
You're going to streak the streaks.
Yeah, and so it's not going to be super obvious because I already have the dark going.
Yeah. I can see what you're doing there, yeah.
Yeah, so like that.
You're just trying to like remove the brush marks almost from the earlier pass.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to move it so that I can actually see what I'm doing.
Okay.
I was trying to do it on camera.
I'll chase you.
Okay, yeah, so I don't think I put enough. You can it's pretty faint.
Oh, I was focused on you back there.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's pretty faint, but you can kind of see this like ghostly orange around it. Is that? That's nice. Yeah, there you go. You see it, just a little bit of a halo around it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's awesome.
And then here, there we go. Same thing. Just kind of very lightly. Up and down, up and down. There we go. There we go. Oh, went out of focus. See, it's kind of faded out towards the bottom. You can go and replay a little bit more if you want. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fade it out a little bit. There's a little bit showing there. There we go. A little bit better.
Looks amazing.
And there we go. That's, same technique you can do if you want to have a little bit more darkness. You can put the acrylic down first. If you want to just have it more faded like that, you can go with orange or the burnt sienna. It's like that. Ooh, whoa. We're moving. We got to do fan stuff.
It's time.
It's time for fan stuff.
Everyone's favorite.
Certainly my favorite. Whoa. All right, I got to bring up the names. The names.
If you are new to the show,
Yes.
Every week we pull some photos from either the work in progress or finished products channels in our Discord and feature them on the show. This is stuff that community members have done.
Yeah, so these are all people in the Discord who, hobby, sometimes hobby along with us, sometimes hobby on their own, but they post their stuff and they show it off, and we want to show it off here.
Yeah.
So, this is Broken Chef doing some
Clone Troopers.
Clone Troopers from the Star Wars.
Is this is this Legion or Shatterpoint, do you think? This looks more like Legion, I think.
I'm not actually sure what the difference is. I thought they were the same game system, just different
Legion
scales.
It's a different game system.
Okay.
But Legion is sort of the army scale game, and Shatterpoint's sort of the skirmish game. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Broken Chef. Very cool. I don't know. I know.
These guys look great.
Yeah, the Clone Troopers have like different. They all have like a white and then a different color scheme, like a different accent. So I'm not sure what white and yellow is. So
about to die. That's
yeah. Thank you, Broken Chef. This is Cedric Cody, right? Cedric Cody Cold paints. Some Kingdom Death. I was present when he was painting this for. We were doing a hobby hangout.
Doing a hobby hang, yeah.
Yeah, we were just hanging out. If you guys want to come hang out in the Discord and hobby with us, just find the channel. There's usually someone in there.
Yeah, I was in there a bunch today.
Yeah, and this looks great. We actually talked. He made the decision about these bone teeth.
Oh yeah.
He asked for some input from people in the chat, and he got some live feedback. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah,
so thank you.
It's a cool option when you're doing the hobby hangs to ask for feedback. And get it sort of in real time.
Yeah, And this is, I mean, it's also just, again, looks great.
It looks great.
The
Finished product
Kingdom
looks
Death
great.
Dark Paladin, I think it was.
And yeah, so much contrast in this.
Yeah,
in that
I
paint
love the
scheme.
red. So good. Hey, it's Tim.
It's Tim
It's Tim's Min / Timbit in the Discord.
on his way to Gibraltar next
Yeah,
week.
on his way to take that
2
gold
weeks.
for best army.
Yeah.
Look at the reflection in the lens there. Dude, this has to.
Yeah.
Be. It's so
It's
good.
amazing. And talking about weathering, right?
Yeah, exactly. Nicely weathered, white scars. Super cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, great
Great job.
Great job. This is Clay. I think I don't know if I've seen his stuff before, but
Yeah. New channel member, new Discord member.
yes.
Great job.
Yeah, super cool. This is OBR, yeah? I'm not
Yeah.
super familiar with my AOS. I know it's us Aussie Bone Reapers, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the model itself.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar as well.
But super cool.
But love the effect.
Yeah.
He's going for like a half frozen. The top half of his body is like cold and frozen, and the bottom half is hot and
lava and fiery.
and it's a neat look.
Yeah, super cool. Also appreciate the skulls. I wonder, us Aussie Bone Reapers, like, how do they feel about those preformed skulls? I don't know. Do they have to break them down before they reuse them?
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting thought.
Yeah,
thought
this
question.
is we should ask Clay. He might know the answers. Yusuf. This is Yusuf's Tyrannid. What kind of Tyrannid
Is that a patriarch?
Yeah, okay. I
That's
thought it was
a
a patriarch.
patriarch,
Pretty sure. Looking great. Love the scheme. Blue and purple. Feels very comic book to me.
Mm-hmm.
Also loving the
asphalt.
the
bases.
asphalt. I would say chat can't see my mouse, but
Yeah.
I'm circling the
Yeah.
the asphalt. Looks great. Nice green tongue too.
Great job. Yeah.
Great job.
The fades and the edge highlights. I think all that was done with a paintbrush.
Yeah.
So
Great job, Yusuf.
really impressed with how well this came out. And he's doing this whole army, so it's not just like a single showpiece model. He's doing a full
the
army.
whole shebang.
Yeah.
Definitely want to see that when it's all together. This is this also Citric?
I think so. Yeah.
I think this is also Citric. Yes,
This is their Warhammer project. So Cedric does
Very
a lot
cool.
of Kingdom Death, but
but he also does Warhammer.
also
and
does orcs.
He does a great job when he does it,
Yeah, the basing is awesome.
and the green is so vibrant.
is
I love the
vibrant,
green.
yeah.
Super cool.
Red eyes are spooky.
Very spoopy. Yeah, these are looking great. Love me some orcs.
Awesome job. Love the nice crisp black rims. Man.
Yeah, super nice. Someone said, Just Jupiter, you asked how I did the black. I did it freehand. I just,
Right.
with a brush. You could do it with putty, though. This is Call Elijah Patrick with his Votan. I don't see enough Votan. So I appreciate Elijah doing this.
Yeah,
So we
and
can see some sick Votan models. I think they're great.
I think there's still a ton of interesting hobby space. Like people latched onto the Lego kit schemes when it first came out because the transports and the vehicles have that vibe. But man, like I feel like there's just a lot of like creative space that still hasn't been explored yet with these guys.
They look great.
So yeah, this again. Speaking of weathering,
Yeah.
man, like the dirt. These guys feel like they've been digging around in the dirt.
Yeah. They look like they've been fighting.
Yep.
Fighting hard.
Yep.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you for that. Call Elijah Patrick. Chicken. You know chicken.
Yeah, these are some. Speaking of Tau, we've been doing Tau today. These are broadsides.
No, these are sawfish.
Sawfish.
These are
that's right.
sawfish.
The broadside. Neither of these is the current broadside kit. The one on the right is a Forge World model that is out of production, and the one on the left is a kit bash of. So the way the broadside model used to be just some metal bits that got bolted onto a crisis suit.
Oh.
And so it was one of these weird kits that was like came with a crisis suit sprue, plastic sprue, and then like a selection of metal bits that you would attach on. And so what he's done is he's used those old metal bits that came with the original OG broadside box and put them on a new crisis suit.
Yeah.
So this is the one on the left. and it looks great. I'm absolutely in love with this.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fairy tale, but like it's also like I've never seen a tile quite like that. I'm really digging it.
He's coming to bring the pain.
Very cool. This is Nick at Night
With some Thousand Suns.
Super cool thousand suns. I'm like really digging this kind of darker blue.
Me too.
Really digging it.
Michael Cody has a similar kind of darker Thousand Suns scheme. I like the sort of volumetric highlights here on the shoulder pads. I'm curious. Like the bases look like they still need doing. I'm really interested to see how the bases accentuate these guys, because I think there's a lot of potential.
So many different ways you could go with it too.
Right.
Like you could go bright sand. You could go like dark earth. Some like, I don't know. I would kind of want to see these on like black marble. I don't know.
Oh,
so many cool different things.
How to add even more pain.
Oh yeah.
Already painful.
Hey, look, you already went this far. You might as well go another.
Right.
That's another 100 hours.
These guys look great.
Yeah, these look great. There we go. Broken Chef. Back to Broken Chef. We did it.
Nice job, guys.
Yeah, great job.
Congratulations. You made stuff. Cool. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and if you want to showcase your stuff, throw it up in the Discord. Join our Discord. Hang out. Get some feedback. Some nice feedback. Live feedback if you join the Hobby Hangouts. Which we're trying to get back into. We haven't been super good about being in there, but I will be in there more because I've got to paint this guy some more.
Yeah, do we want to do kind of a finish?
Yeah, let's do it.
Shot?
We will do it. We are coming up on the last
things.
Cool. I'll do mine.
Okay.
And I'm gonna finally move him in a light because I'm not painting him. Okay. We're doing it live. Let's see. Ooh, there it comes down. There it goes in. We'll zoom out a little bit. All right. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get rid of our faces real fast. There we go.
Look at that.
This is where we're at. Still needs a little bit more weathering, but decent. It's a big model. There's a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Just want to again point out the chipping up here, scratching the edges, big chips with streaks.
Yeah.
Some other types of streaks over here, directional over here.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's a bunch of really neat.
Yeah.
Really neat techniques. Right.
We're gonna switch over to you now. I'm gonna not give people sickness. Turn it this way.
That came out really good, Cire.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and you can sort of imagine what those techniques applied across the entire model.
Yeah.
It'll be a neat effect.
I will show it once it's done.
Yeah, we'll post some pictures up in Discord.
Too long from now. Yes.
Okay.
All right, let's see yours.
Cool. Yeah, so I put both of them here side by side.
Oh, nice.
And so we can kind of see
a little side by side. I'll do a live zoom in so we can do some comparisons. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. So, talk us through.
So the one on the right is the one that we started the stream already painted.
I'll zoom in.
And
here we go.
I think if I back it up, the lighting will be better.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the one on the left we did today. And actually, if I bring them side by side,
the camera wants to focus wherever it wants to.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So you can see similarly we did a few different techniques, but similar. We did some. So we dragged a sponge, sort of doing a dry brush effect, to create this streaking, and then we kind of went over the streaking with a paintbrush, with silver paint with gunmetal, to add a little bit more visual interest. You can see it kind of here as well. And then we did, coming out of the exhaust vents, we did some streaking here to show kind of smoke coming out of the exhaust.
I don't know why I did that. Did it just die?
Hard to say.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know when I pressed.
Okay. Well, let's just go back to front.
Well, the show's over. Sorry, folks. We'll have to get Zach in here.
You guys saw a clever shot of the ceiling there.
Yeah.
And then we did some chipping, just to kind of very similar to how you did yours.
Yes.
So it was good. And I've chosen to. I think, we've shown you a couple different techniques here. I think it's interesting to play with. You can achieve very different looks depending on how heavily you lean into one or more of these, and how heavily you weather the overall vehicle.
Yeah.
You can really just do a very small amount of weathering and get one look, or use the same technique over, and spend 10x more time doing it.
Yeah.
And achieve a very different look.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't even talk about, completely covering anything in enamel wash or oil wash or grime. Like, there's so much more we can do. We might consider doing another stream. There's so many other techniques. We didn't talk about chipping fluid, stuff like that, salt method. So much to do. But that's where we're going to stop today.
Yeah.
So
thanks for joining us, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you soon. We're going to be streaming. Zach is going to be on Friday.
With Journeys. For channel members.
Yes, and then Sunday, I don't know exactly what they'll be here Sunday. I don't know what the theme is. Yeah, thank you for hobbying with us, hanging out with us. We'll see you guys soon.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Take care.